So, so isn't it true that that's the step that most people just have not taken, is that step that I'm just going to believe it before I see it, right?
It is, but that's why it's like Esther has a tickle in her throat, and before it gets too strong, she's going to allow us to suck on this. It's a little bit like that. In other words, when you have an inkling about something, you can sort of tell where it's going, can't you? You can sort of tell where it's going. So if Esther catches this before she starts snorting into the microphone, it's much better than if she waits until after. All things are that way. You can tell by the way you feel what your vicinity is to where you really want to be. You can tell when you're moving away from it. You can tell when you're moving toward it, you see. Okay. Now, bring us back around to where you were going, because we like the direction of that.
I've just been very happy in the last couple of years. I've manifested all these things that a few years ago I was struggling with, and it just seems I've been getting up every morning with appreciation and faith that the unseen is just as well seen. And I just wanted to confirm that's a
perfect state of being, because when you are appreciative and pleased with where you are and eager for more, it is the perfect vibrational dynamic, because you're still reaching with slight or no resistance, That just makes for the most comfortable, joyous expansion in life.
Yes.
We want to go back to what you were talking about, and what we were talking about the manifested reality. When you said most people want to see it and then they will believe it. And that is the reason that this vortex analogy is so helpful in our teaching of this thing about faith, is because if we can convince you in the validity of this vibrational precursor, and we can speak of it enough that you will notice in your own life experience, in other words, you can discover on your own the reality of what it feels like when you line up with who you are and what it feels like when you don't. So now it's not faith, it's real. In other words, you can feel the thrill of connection, and you can feel the discord of disconnection. You can feel the thrill and the clarity and the well-being of alignment, and you can feel the discord of not. And so now if we can convince you of the vibrational reality before you see it, but not before you feel it. So faith is reaching for the feeling and then trusting that the manifestation will follow that feeling. And you only need a little bit of faith for a little while, because the manifestation will give you the evidence. In other words, we're not asking you to go on year after year after year. That's what our friend helped us to say as we began here today. Sometimes if you've had something that you've wanted for a really long time and it hasn't manifested, you lose the faith. But it's because you don't understand the laws of the universe, and you're not understanding your own guidance system. When all that clicks into place, faith isn't necessary, because you just know. You don't have to, you're not going on faith. You don't have to convince people, and people don't need you to have faith either, because they're watching things manifest all around you. You reach the point where you barely speak of something, and there it is. You barely acknowledge slight interest in something, and a whole bunch of it shows up in your experience where you can dissect it and enjoy it firsthand, you see. It's wonderful to know about the laws of the universe, and 1,000 times more wonderful to apply them deliberately.